Jefferies Show. I'm Jim Jefferies. We have another exciting show for you, full of clips of news anchors reading tweets to each other. Let's start with Steph Curry. Last week, the NBA champ said he wouldn't visit the White House, triggering a predictable reaction.
The president fired off a tweet about the NBA champions Golden State Warriors and their star guard, Steph Curry, saying going to the White House is considered a great honor for a championship team. Steph Curry is hesitating, therefore, invitation is withdrawn.
He's not hesitating, Donald. He said no. No means no. Not everyone wants to be in the White House. Just think of Steph Curry like Melania, not coming. Trump's feud with Curry got the attention of LeBron James, the other NBA player I've heard of.
LeBron James had bold remarks for President Trump saying, quote, "You bum. Steph Curry already said he ain't going, so therefore ain't no invite. Going to White House was a great honor until you showed up," unquote.
I hope Trump keeps pissing off athletes so I can hear more stuffy anchors reading sports smack talk. We have some breaking news. At POTUS, you punk-ass sucker. Your mama's so fat she drives to work on a forklift. Trump wasn't content to pick a fight with just one professional sport. He immediately made his feelings heard about football players kneeling during the national anthem.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, "Get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired."
Ha! Our president has a catchphrase. I think you can do better, Trump. I think we can all do better. Dozens of NFL players joined the protest by kneeling or linking arms, so Trump decided to call for a boycott of the NFL. And that's just the latest thing that Trump supporters are boycotting. They already can't watch CNN, MSNBC, Saturday Night Live. They can't subscribe to most newspapers. They can't shop at Nordstrom, TJ Maxx, Starbucks. They can't listen to any musicians that have spoken out against Trump. Now they can't watch football. So what's left? I guess they could sit and read a book, but come on. Taking a knee is not a protest against the military. It's not protesting the flag. It's a way of pointing out that the America that exists for white people isn't the same America that exists for minorities. It's not that hard to understand. For most people, anyway.
If I owned a bar and the hostess announces that she's going to be protesting at work, I would fire her, because that's not the job of a hostess.
Well, standing for the anthem isn't a football player's job. They are protesting during the game. It's not like Colin Kaepernick was hiked the ball, then he pulled out a Sharpie and wrote cops, and then he propped it up with his dick and kicked a field goal for the other team. That, I agree, should be frowned upon. But no, he still did the whole quarterback thing. The American flag represents this nation's values, and one of those values is freedom to express yourself. And that's exactly what these players are being denied. And critics refuse to see it.
This isn't about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. It's not about race. It's not about free speech. They can do free speech on their own time.
Yeah. Do free speech on your own time. That's when free speech is the most effective, when no one else in the world can hear it. You can't imagine all of the profound things I come up with whilst I'm taking a shit. If you're upset by these protests, tell me, what does freedom of speech and peaceful protest even mean to you? You freak out when people march. Protesters showing up at the Capitol makes you nervous. Now, kneeling is too disruptive? You literally can't get more peaceful than a man silently crouched on one knee. What would be less offensive? Like a person lying down and whispering into the grass, "I feel oppressed." Kneeling does not mean that these players hate our country. You can protest racism and still love America. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Just like how you can hate men who beat their wives, but still tune into the NFL every Sunday. America is literally a protest that became a country. The movements that shaped this country's history have always sprung from rebellion. The civil rights movement, women's suffrage, gay rights. Protest is patriotism. And we've seemed to have forgotten that.
Patriotism comes in many forms. And what has happened is that it's been conflated with kind of a bumper sticker kind of flag waving and with the military only, so that people cannot see that in his own way, Colin Kaepernick, however imperfectly, is doing a patriotic thing. And so too are some of these other players.
Thank you, Luke Skywalker. For some reason, kneeling to protest racism is considered unpatriotic. But stockpiling guns so you can shoot up the government if they go mental, that makes you a patriot. Wrapping yourself in a flag that represents a time when half the country literally tried to leave America, that makes you a patriot. And when you've got a president that lets this slide, but won't tolerate this, well, that just kind of proves their point, doesn't it?